I think I am live now. Okay, due to the network issue, the stream got cut off just now. Restart it again. I hope this time it works. Okay, so where are we? So yeah, this part. So we have trees. We have active tree here. What is this? YouTube Creator Studio. Okay, close this. Okay, I think the network is lagging so much here. Okay, so let's continue. Nonetheless, try correcting the name to an existing name parameter's name or defining name parameter with the name active3. Why it is not getting the active3? SkillTree state. We are passing event and emit here. Missing type annotation. Let's add the data type here. Event and here it would be emitter skill 3 state emit. So here also it will show error. So I think do I need to use the copy with function here to pass the data active3. What do we have here? So what do we have here? The following code snippets are focused on the state structure. In practice, you may also want to extend equitable from package equitable. Is my network working fine? I hope it's not laggy. Let me check the network. Okay, there are many different approaches when it comes to structuring application state. Each has its own advantages and drawbacks. Okay, we'll take a look at several approaches, their pros and cons, and when to use each one. So let's read on this part: equitable, concrete class and status enum. Okay, we have this class, state class. Okay, we have the states, similar to what we have here. Okay, easy to manage a single class and status enum and all partition readily accessible. Okay. Okay, we can add also a status state. Yeah, this we can do there. Okay, let's do here SkillTree state. We can just do okay without the equal sign. Initial loading loaded error. Let's put loading and loaded. These three things will be sufficient for now. Loading loaded and error. Okay, this should be fine for now. And we will add just add SkillTree state. Okay, status 3 state status. We have to name it in this way: status SkillTree status equal to should we give an initial value? Okay, so that's why we need the initial one. We'll just first put it as initial. Okay, now this one initial. Let's initial okay, let's make what is happening to my keyboard? So if we move this upward, the constructor, go to final here, skill tree model, okay, final here, and fill up this here, this dot status equal to skill tree status dot initial. This is one thing. Why it is showing error? Let's go to data manager and unexpected. Okay, where? Okay, we don't get it here. And for active tree, remove this for now. Let's make it I'm trying to follow the structure here, whatever the structure we have here. Then let's make the active tree as it will be a list only, const list. Why this equal sign is showing? Okay, I'll just make it skill tree model. Will this not work? It should work because it is in similar structure. We have okay, we should also add a exception value. Okay, exception or whatever error we get, we can just put it here. Okay, exception. Exception. Let's name it as exception only. Initially this dot exception. Why do it will not work? It's not working here. What to put? Okay, so we have missed out this one. this dot exception equal to null for this case. For this case, what we are expecting is active tree. Okay, skill tree model. We'll get only a skill tree model. Okay, we're not expecting a list. What will happen if I put null here? So if I put null here, why it is showing error? Skill tree BLoC dot dart. This one is state dot dart. Okay. Redundant initialization. Okay, without initialization also it will work. By default it will take null only. Okay. What is this exception type actually? I know that the error message or the message for the exception we can show it. Let's check once on this. Cancel. Okay, I have to use the mouse here. Exceptions are thrown either by the PM or from the Dart code, a marker interface implemented by all core library exceptions. An exception is intended to convey information to the user about a failure so that the error can be addressed programmatically. It is intended to be. Okay, can be addressed programmatically. Okay, it is. Okay, you can just use toString method and just get the exception. Okay, fine. We will not dwell there so much. Okay. So we have created the state. Pros easy to manage a single class, and the state and all properties are readily accessible, concise, and really requires fewer lines of code. Okay, it is fine. Cons, not type safe, requires checking the status before accessing properties. Yeah, we'll be checking the state. Before accessing properties, it is possible to emit a malform state which can lead to bugs. Properties for specific states are nullable. Yeah, which can be cumbersome to manage and requires either force unwrapping or performing null checks. Yeah, we will do the null check for accessing the values here initially. Verdict, this approach works best for simple states on or when the requirements call for states that are not exclusive. Example showing a snack bar when an error occurs while still showing all data from the last success rate. This approach provides flexibility and consistently at a cost of type safety. Okay. Then how can make it type safe? It is shield class and subclasses. Okay, this approach consists of shield class that holds any shared properties and multiple subclasses for the separate state. This approach is great for separate exclusive states. Okay, separate exclusive states. Let's see the example what that means. So we have shield class weather state, const weather state. Class weather initial extends weather states, const weather initial. Okay, weather initial, and we have weather load in progress. Weather load success extends weather state, weather load success required restore weather, final weather, final class weather load failure extends weather state, const weather load failure get restore exception. Okay, we have separated out in file. Separated out into different classes. It is not possible to accidentally access an invalid property. Okay, each subclass calls its own properties, making it clean which properties belong to which state. Okay, here we have this attribute, here we have this weather attribute here. The code, okay, type safe, explicit separate shared properties from state specific properties, exhaustive, using a switch statement for exhaustiveness sake to ensure that each state is explicitly handled. If you don't want exhaustive switching or want to be able to add subtypes later without breaking the API, use the final modifier. Okay, cons Farbos requires more code, one base class and a subclass per state. One base class and a subclass per state. Yeah, for every state we are creating a class here. Yes, also you can duplicate code for shared properties across subclasses. Okay, complex, adding new properties requires updating its subclass and the base class, which can be cumbersome and lead to increase in complexity of the state. In addition, may require unnecessary excessive type checking to access properties. Yeah, that is better to use this one only, concrete class and status enum. Okay, BLoC was designed to be extremely easy to test. Okay, we'll not look at testing for now. Modeling state architecture, Flutter BLoC console architecture. Here we are emitting success data. Where is the other part of the code? I'm trying to figure out the emit part here, how to use the emit part here. Emit state plus 1. Okay. So what we were doing is directly we are just citing this one active tree, new tree, but we are not using constructor, right? Skill tree state, should use this one, skill tree state, active tree, new tree, and here as well active, skill tree state, active tree, trees dot trees dot first so we are emitting only one value here in the state, then other value will automatically get null, right? This will become null, this will status become initial. Okay, where do we, okay, we have implemented this part as well as onload initial data. Okay, now here it is showing error, skill tree state. So initially if we just call the state without any, call the constructor without any the values, it will just take, the activity will take null, status will take the initial, exception will also take the null value. Okay, that is also fine here. What we want, so we have to add it. Where do we have, we add the block in which we have to call that this block, this, we have to call this constructor somewhere. To initialize this class and create an object. So it will, my app should be in the my app. Okay, let's check the example where we have to put it counter view. Okay, the block builder, we have to pass the block builder. Okay. Is it? Okay, we have to punch the block builder in the skill tree screen here, where we will access the events and functions from here only. Okay, here we have to the block builder, but how to initialize? Where to initialize this block? Is it something like block provider? Do we have that? Where is the block file? Okay, this is the constant content here. Presentation layer, we have this thing. Okay, setup business logic layer. Okay, weather model. Okay, build file, file for business logic layer. Is it some kind of automation or what? Okay, we get the model file here. Copy with function. I think I have to implement copy with function for the states. Yeah, this is the state file. Okay, they have implemented using qubit. Okay, Okay, test is there, so I can just follow this guide and write test for the block. Okay, so let's search. Here we need to add the block provider. Do we need directly use it? Builder. I am seeing here a multi-block provider here. This is what I was thinking. Then we have the material lab. Well, yes, you can, but it is not recommended to do it in certain way. For example, small project and prototype, sure. Project big, no. For small project and prototype, sure. For large project big, no. Okay, normally you want to separate things as much as you can, because like the name of it, block builder, it will reveal widgets inside of it. So if you wraps with many widgets, example is like for post widget, if you tap like icon button widget, that need reveal is just icon button, right? But if you wrap an entire post, it will render in user screen 60 fps standard. Okay, so if you're doing that way, don't do it, because user experience will be when project goes large. It's like set state with extra steps if you're doing that way. Right now I skeleton for fun app. I was pretty sure that it's incorrect, that but many examples had block builder on top of 3, and I started to have doubts. Okay, construction on top level and inject state to lower parts of the 3. Okay, we have to do this one. Multi-block provider. To do it here, where we have material lab. Wrap with multi-block provider. It's some kind of builder, right? Block provider, column container, feature builder, building hosting builder. Make it widget, and then I will just do multi-block provider here. Multi-block provider, then we have to add provider here. Yeah, in provider we will have that SkillTree BLoC multi-block provider, right? Okay. multi block provider Yeah, understood this part. We have block class. Okay, block base, block builder base, block consumer. Okay, let's not get distracted here. Let's finish what we are doing. Okay, instead of nesting here in this way, we can just directly add number of blocks. Okay, block provider, we have to use the word block provider, block A. Okay, db dw x. Okay, so we have block provider. Okay, as we are putting the data inside a what do we have, inside a list of, okay, let's hover here, list of single child widgets. Okay, single child widget providers are single child widgets. Okay, so what would be single child widget? Single child widget implements widget. That takes a single descendant. A widget that takes a single descendant as opposed to proxy widget, it may have a build method. Okay, multi-block provider. Then we will have the block provider. Then we have to pass the block provider. Then here we have to pass the test data type we have passed. SkillTree BLoC create SkillTree BLoC create build context block A. Build context SkillTree BLoC. What did I miss something here? So we have this block, this part. Okay, let's set this part. Then we have create build context we have this function, right? build context. So we are passing context the parameter and it will return a SkillTree BLoC. But it is showing we don't have that. But then what we have here? SkillTree BLoC. SkillTree BLoC. Okay. The name was wrong here. Dot repository. Okay, so here we have to pass the repository here. So we are not using dependency injection yet. So how do we pass this? This repository object. Can I pass from here? Okay, so we have this repository, but we need to initialize the object. I think it is ISR repository. Pass it into BLoC provider. Okay, I think I have to add it in main app. This is because you are trying to initialize localizer repository with ISR in with the field of declaration in direct way. That is not okay, but you have to initialize localizer repository by the constructor of main app. Okay. By the way, you can do it with init state of main app if it is stateful with Z2. Okay, we have to add this one with the Flutter binding.ensure initialized, and then we can add okay. In this way they are passing the ISR. This is where I explain in above. Okay, about the code. The main first initializes the SR, and after it passes to main name, then the constructor initializes local SR repository. It means that it gets SR in properly and your block property set the key with that repository, but this code says you are not accessing the instance members directly in the field initializer. Your key with SR repository SR in. Key parameter is for a uniquely identified widget in an effort to ensure that updating it is a for task not necessary and is mostly used when dealing with states inside widgets that are deeply nested. Okay, it is clear. So what we do is we will start with the main app. Okay, we already have the entry initialized here. Final repository equal to SkillTree repository. Final repository equal to SkillTree repository. Okay, so what we did was create an object of SkillTree repository. Using a default constructor. Okay. Then we opened the SR cache using this line of code. Have repository.init. And what do we have here? I hope the stream is working fine. So we have okay, directly passing the code here only. Let's pass the repository. So we have passed the repository already, SkillTree repository. Now where is the issue here? Can I do this? Then how to access this one? Here, from here. I guess let me check this one once. We do have skill repository here. Okay, here I guess we can pass widget dot, yeah. So here we can pass widget dot repository, which is this one probably. Can I access the current page index directly? Current temp equal to current page index. To be able to access that, what do we need? Do we need widget? Why can't I directly access that value? Okay, I have to use this dot current page index. Yeah, this dot current page index to refer to this attribute. Okay. Okay, I recall that concept. Okay, then we have widget dot repository. We are passing this value here, repository, and then SkillTree BLoC. So now let's go to SkillTree BLoC. Okay, we're not missing anything this time. Yeah, so next thing we have is, I think I have to create that copy with function. We'll create it later. First now let's check if these two works or not. So in a SkillTree screen, body. Okay, here we have to do it. Okay, so let's wrap this. block builder, block. We use block provided there, so here block provided, then block builder. Then here we need to pass the type. Yeah, builder skill 3 model skill 3 skill 3 event skill 3 state skill 3 state. Okay, here they have told to pass the block A and block state, that is skill 3 state, not state, skill 3 block, skill 3 block, and next we have skill 3 state, then we have context and state, block is state. Okay, center, a button. State dot active 3 equal to null. If it's true, then we are showing this one. Otherwise we were showing interactive viewer, this whole thing. Okay, let's move it to top. Can I do something like web child here, interactive viewer up to here? Okay, this is the interactive viewer up to here. Let's copy up to this, let's cut it and paste it here. So we'll check state dot active equal to null, if it's null then we'll show this one, otherwise we'll show interactive viewer. Okay, let's delete this comma here. Okay, it's properly aligned now. Okay, interactive viewer. Next we have this builder here. And So if there is null, then they will get the option on press create new tree. So when they pressed on create new tree, so we will remove this one for now. We'll just add an event instead of the tree function. We'll add an event which will be this one, create new tree. Context dot read SkillTree BLoC and what was the event? Create new tree. Yeah, this one. Why it is showing error here? Different body type function. Okay, let's put it inside this. Okay, and this is working fine. Context the treat SkillTree BLoC dot add create. Okay, now I also did I did something wrong? Okay, so this function thing I need to add here. Okay, the read is a function. Okay, contains the read available from nearest instance property of type T. So contains the read function. Then we have to add dot add create new tree here. Okay, this will create a new tree and update the state of the active tree. Okay, if the when the widget reveals now active tree is not equal to null, and what we see is what we get this one, interactive viewer. So here, okay, we implemented another event which is load initial tree data. Okay, load initial tree data. Let's close this one. SkillTree BLoC SkillTree state screen. Okay, not this one, SkillTree screen. Interactive viewer, what we will get here is we are passing the active tree, and from where do we get the active tree? We should get this from the state, not from here. So let's change it. The active tree SkillTree scene, active tree will keep it as even using not null is not accepting the value. Okay, so here I have to add that event context dot read dot add load initial tree data. So just put a block here, skill tree block. So we are adding the event load initial tree data. Let's run and see what we get. Is it loading from the state? What happen if we let's reload it once. Let's put log. Okay, let's this AI. Okay, I'm getting loaded initial data again and again. Okay, as I put it inside a widget, that's why. It is loading the initial data and rebuilding the widget, and while rebuilding the widget, it is again triggering the event, and the event again triggering building of widgets. So that's why it is in the infinite loop. So we have to move this. You have to move this to init. It's initialization. Can I add this here? Init state. Let's Libre SkillTree BLoC. Okay. Will this execute here? Load initial data. Get all these. We can remove this one too from here. Okay, let's run this. Okay, I think we fixed the issue. Only one time we are getting a loaded initial data here. Okay, so we'll continue in the next stream. We'll try to move the other functions to event. Okay, probably in the next stream it will be done.